Mic'd up.
From Lowlifes. Highlights from Lowlifes.
Welcome again, everybody, to Highlights from Lowlifes. No. Wait. Marty, do you have power this week?
Well, I went over so well last week, I thought I'd carry it on, you know?
Awesome.
Oh, I
Yes,
know.
Marty.
You're in charge. I'm sorry. I said bad, bad Marty.
Marty was
Bad.
without power last week, and so he was candle power. Thanks for joining us again. This week's show is topical. We are at World Series time in a few days, and some of us have been exposed to these rule changes, the Manfred rules. I didn't think I would like a lot of them, but some of them have stuck, and I can deal with them. But there's some other things that we would like to share with you tonight, changes we'd like to make to the game, or maybe we want to reverse some of the Manfred rules or some of the other rules that have been in play. We've had a couple of seasons to look at these and see how they play out. Everything's worth a try, but some things may have fallen flat on their face, and some things may flirt with the tradition of the game that we like. So that's our topic tonight. The Lowlifes, group of Bay Area senior baseball players who got together during the pandemic and had Zoom calls for our mental health. It kind of morphed into these top fives that we do on the show. That's our normal theme. And we met up with the folks with Mic'd Up, and they said, hey, want to try to be a proof of concept show on our platform, and that's what we're doing. I think this is the 62nd episode. So
It's a hell of a concept. Hell of a concept.
Yes. So without further ado, let's get things started. I'm anxious to hear what you guys come up with. I also see that we have plenty of comments coming in. If you'd like to leave a comment, just hit the microphone at the bottom of the screen, and you've got 30 seconds to tell us what you'd change in baseball. All right, Robbie, you want to start us off? No?
Okay.
I interrupted you while you were pouring your beer. Sorry.
It's okay. I can talk and drink beer at the same time.
Oh, that's good. Wow, that's
quite No, all right. This is a big one for me. Remove the blackouts. Everything that Major League Baseball is doing, all these new rule changes are all about getting younger people involved in the game. Younger people don't watch the ball games on TV. They stream. Everything they do for entertainment is streaming on their phone, on their computer, tablet, what have you. So if you really want to appeal to the younger audience, number one, make sure the hometown team is no longer blacked out when you pay $120 a year for the MLB package on your cell phone. You should be able to watch your local team. I mean, if you want to reach the kids, that's the way to go. That's a big one for me. That could have been my number one. That's how strongly I feel about that. That would be a day one change if I were commissioner.
Wow.
Now you're making me angry.
Yes, I'm starting to get pissed over here. Grr. I'll tell you some more about that because you stole my number 4, but I'll add to it.
Okay, fair enough. Do it, Marty. Again, before we have to go to straight candlelight for you.
Oh, nuts! I got wax all over my notes. Just okay.
You want us to play a commercial?
No, I'm doing this for dramatic concept.
Let it dry and then shave it off.
That's not funny. Bring back the shift. If you're supposed to be a major league hitter, and you can't adjust your swing to anything else but bouncing into that shift all the time, you're weak You're worthless. Find somebody else. Bring look who's in the World Series. The Otanis, the Freemans, the Judges, the Juan Sotos. These guys crush the ball. Let's find out how really good you are. Bring back the shift. Let us play baseball as a defensive team the way we think is best. That's my number 5.
Absolutely. Not letting the defense set up the way they want is like telling a pitcher you can't throw a breaking pitch.
Yeah.
You
Nice.
should be able to
Good
set up
analogy.
yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what everything else is because I got Waxel of everything else, but that's what I got.
No.
All right. Chuck.
All right, I'll continue with Robbie's tirade about the blackout restrictions, because that was my number 4, but I'll make it my number 5. I'll just switch my other one. So, but yeah, that the whole thing started with the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, where they wanted to just discourage local people from watching on TV. They want them to come out to the ballpark. And I'm thinking, well, if you want them to come out to the ballpark, how about doing something about the prices?
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why people don't go to the ballpark anymore. So it seems like there's better ways of doing it than locking your local fans out from being able to watch from a bar or from their house or whatever they want to do. But Robbie, you kind of mentioned it. People who buy the MLB TV package, they just sort of expected to be able to watch the games. Well, that happened to me when my boys were in college. I had one that was down in the LA area and another one down in the San Diego area, and they said, "Man, we really want to watch the A's games." And I go, "All right, I'll get the MLB TV and give you guys the access to it and so forth." Every one of the A's home games was blacked out, both in the LA area and down in San Diego.
Oh man.
Yeah. So they didn't get to watch anything but away games. So it's just crazy. It shouldn't be like that. I agree with you 100%, Robbie.
Yeah.
That's my tirade.
That's a good tirade.
Yes.
All right.
All right, Rob.
I'll finish up round 1, and I'm just going to continue on that theme. My mom doesn't know what a stream application is. She's, even if she could figure out how to add it to her phone, she probably wouldn't be able to figure out how to actually watch the game on the platform in question. What Major League Baseball is doing by playing around and creating these situations where there's exclusivity for Apple TV on Friday Night Baseball. People don't know what that is. The older crowd doesn't know what Apple TV is. Rob referred to the younger crowd, but the older crowd is getting shut out. And these are some longtime baseball fans, and they can't watch games. And like Chuck said, they bought the package,
right?
But it doesn't matter. It's like, I've got all the games except for the ones you tell me I can't have. So I don't really have all the games.
Yeah.
Do I get a discount? What's going on here? So, and then there on the same rant, there has to be some uniformity to how a baseball game is presented. I watched one Apple TV broadcast, and whoever was in that booth that night, and I didn't recognize anybody, they weren't talking about the game. They were telling jokes and having a great old time talking about all kinds of different things. Some of it related to baseball, some of it not. But the game itself was just something going on in the background. That's a bad look for baseball. They have to rein that in and say, if you're going to present our product, you have to do it in a certain way.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Present the product and not yourself, right?
Yeah. All right, that's end of round 5. Let's move into 4. Hey, Marty, you want to start us off?
Yes, and I'm going to do a visual here, and don't worry, my pants stay on. But that's all.
Good.
That's good. That's good. Oh, your pants are off.
It's
Okay.
this this is like make pitchers hit again. This is like a
Yeah.
PowerPoint. Okay.
Yes. There you go. That's as technical as I get. I have no idea what you're talking about
PowerPoint.
before with streaming. I thought, that's what but
A paper
I
point.
always thought it was one of the dumbest things. And then the National League had to buy into it. And then you see these incidences, and it happens every once in a while. They want to pitch inside, and that's fine. There were some great Hall of Fame pitch. Bob Gibson is one that comes to mind. But Bob Gibson, in turn, had to face the music and get in that batter's box. And I think we do a great injustice with baseball. There were some great hitting pitchers. The last one I could think of was Bumgarner for the Giants. Did a great job.
Otani's not shabby.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are a number of. Well, they say Otani's a pitcher, and they let that guy pitch. I think they're idiots, but they got a diamond. They got a diamond there as a batter. So, but anyway, that's beside the point. Make those pitchers hit again. If I'm the commissioner, that's the decree I had in day one. Make those guys bat.
Yep.
Robbie, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to do my version where I, the commissioner, it's similar to yours. So this is the perfect lead-in. Thank you for doing that. And that was unscripted.
Yeah, you owe me.
What I would do with the DH, now that it's part of the framework of baseball, if I were the commissioner, I'd like to see the DH rule changed so that the designated hitter is lost when you pull your starting pitcher.
Yes.
No more
like
openers, or you could do an opener, but you lose your DH as soon as that opener comes out of the game. Guys routinely pitch 300 innings. I was watching a thing on MLB Network the other day, and a bunch of the Orioles pitchers are looking at the back of Jim Palmer's baseball card, and it's like 323 innings, 313 innings, 297 innings, 303, and so on and so forth. The guys go, wow, can you imagine pitching that many innings? And I think it was Greg Amsminger said, yeah, they used to just try to get people to make outs instead of striking everybody out. He's going, 100 pitches a game is all it took to go 9 innings back in the old days.
So this, what you've just said, I think is an excellent way to force the game back in the direction it used to be.
Yeah. Well, for the National League.
Yeah, these bullpen games, they do work. But they're difficult to watch. They're not as much fun. You don't see a pitcher get stronger during the course of a game because he's not given a chance. The first sign of trouble, he gets pulled. But if you tie it to the DH, now it gets interesting. That's very interesting because you want to play around with having 12 pitchers in this game, then they all got to hit.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea, Rob.
You think the guys that are throwing 104 miles an hour and they're throwing 120 pitches in 4 innings, there's got to be a risk reward in there, and so that way you can placate the people that love the DH, and then the traditionalists like us that hate the DH. There's your middle ground. And it changes the strategy of the game. So
awesome.
Love it.
Yep.
All right, Webby, how about you?
All right, this is the first one that's going to make you laugh, but think about it and let me know if you want to modify it a little bit. I'm cool with that. I don't have the parameters down yet, but I've been thinking about this for several years. You don't have to win to make money in baseball. You can just have a semi-competitive team put out on the field that has a couple of stars on it that your fans will come out to see. And we've seen this. There's several teams that aren't even attempting to put a competitive team on the field because they don't have to. It's not important to them. The ownership they're not saying, oh God, we have to have a world championship. What if we put in a rule that said if your franchise is uncompetitive for X number of years, you must sell it?
Ooh, wow. I don't think any I don't even
Wow.
think any team owner would agree to that,
Yes,
because anything can happen.
of course they would. Well, actually, Chuck, I think what you'd find in a vote amongst the owners is that the New Yorks, the LAs, the big cities, they would vote for it.
Oh, they would, sure, yeah. Well, because they got all the money. You got to put some revenue sharing in there if you're going to do that.
Right. But
So,
the smaller franchises, the Pittsburghs, the Colorados, the ones that are just going through the motions, they would, of course, say, "Oh no, you can't do that to us. That's not fair." Well, what's the sport is for the fans. I'm getting on my soapbox here, but the sport's for the fans, and the fans in Colorado, they don't have any chance of seeing their team win a World Series. It's a joke. They're not even attempting to put together a pitching staff. They just yeah. Hey, that's exactly how the Colorado fans feel. They're getting the guys on the scrap heap to be their pitching staff each year, and they try to trade them off in August and fill it in with more scrap heap guys for the next year. So I'm it's sad for me to watch, but at least the Giants don't finish last when the Rockies are in their division. So
How about the inverse excise tax, a lame tax? That if you don't get a certain percentage wins, you get taxed if you don't get a
so
35% or
that's awesome. That's awesome.
okay.
That might even be more viable than what I just said. In that,
Right, because that would hit them where they live in the pocketbook.
if
yeah,
you
but
can't
where they live is the reason that they're so shitty already. So it's just a snowball
Well,
effect.
I
Well,
would make
there
a
again, then they can't afford it, so you better put something on the field.
counterpoint to Chuck. It's not like the Chicago White Sox are a small market team.
Yeah.
So, and although they did outdraw 6 other teams this year, even though they're the worst team in baseball history.
I just think something should be done about the perennial loser, the team that has no chance and isn't even attempting to win. Now you watch the A's. When the A's move to the Las Vegas area, suddenly those pocketbooks will open up, and you'll see them competing.
just like with the Raiders.
Hey,
Yeah.
The pocketbooks sure opened up.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, hold it, because I have some friends in the office that go down there every weekend. They're their home teams, and both individually came up to me and said they couldn't believe the amount of Pittsburgh people that were there.
Yeah,
And
no,
that-
I know
and
that
that's
was
the
there. It
reason-
was 70% Pittsburgh fans,
And
at
that's
that
the
game.
I think that's the real reason that what's his face who owns the A's bought into going to Vegas, because he's going to make money in the admission gate from Cleveland coming in for a weekend, and all the Cleveland fans coming to Vegas, or from Texas, or from Boston.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All to watch
So he
their
doesn't have
team
to
crush the A's.
Yeah, but he's gonna get money no matter how bad his team is, because he's gonna get it off the pocketbooks of the people on the visiting side.
which is wrong. And what
True. I'm not.
what if he was up against it and he had to field a competitive team, or he loses his ownership?
Yeah.
I guess the only drawback on that is that you're not going to get market value for your team.
Right.
What is
Right.
that?
You're
Whose
not going
fault
to
is
get
that?
market value.
You mean you're not going to get too much money for a crappy product?
Oh yeah, that's the whole. That's why these guys buy the teams, right? Buy it, hold it for 10 or 15 years, and then take all that extra money out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that many owners care about their team anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chuck, round 4, did you throw out a pick yet?
Yeah, not yet.
Okay,
I've got one, and this one will probably make you guys laugh a little bit, maybe. But I will mention that Robbie stole my number 3 as well. So,
yes.
God, he's killing me. He's just killing me. But my number 4, which was my number 5, I
I'm confused.
The first thing I would do when I became the commissioner would be to correct one of the most infamous umpiring mistakes in Major League Baseball history. Can any of you guys guess what that one was?
Armando.
Hiring Angel?
Armando Galarraga denied the perfect game in 2010 when Jim Joyce just kicked the shit out of a call at first base. I mean, bad. It wasn't even close.
I actually really like Marty's answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but what was interesting about that was that after Jim Joyce saw the replay, he immediately said that it was his fault and that he robbed the kid of his perfect game, and he just felt terrible about it, and so and Galarraga's response to him the next day when Joyce went up to him to apologize, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, it's very gracious.
So so it ended up being pretty cool all the way around. But I just think as a commissioner, I'd make his perfect game official just to make everybody happy.
Side
like
note to that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Side note to that. Do you think if Armando Galarraga had actually gotten the perfect game, would we remember Armando Galarraga?
No.
Or because of the blown call, will he live on in history?
That's a good point.
That's it. That's exactly right, Rob. Yeah.
That's a good point.
So there's something.
But
there.
still,
yeah.
I think if somebody said, "Well, we'd like to make your perfect game official," I don't think he'd say, "Oh no, don't do that." I'm pretty sure he'd go, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah. I think he'd be in.
Yeah.
But then I think every year when the season started, or if there was a new commissioner, they'd come in and they'd reverse a bunch of rulings, like pardons, be a presidential
presidential pardon type thing. I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah, we're going to take the World Series from 1989 and award it to the Giants. All right.
So Pete Rose will end up in the Hall of Fame, then, is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's going to happen.
Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, did we all get through number 4?
Yes, we did.
Right. What's up next?
That's my favorite part of the show. It's a segment I like to call "What You Drinking." As always, the Highlights from Lowlife show is sponsored by our good friends at Almanac Brewing. Almanac is one of the premier craft brewers in the country. The beers are freaking delicious. They've been a great partner for us on this show, and we're doing a live remote from there on November 6th. So come on out and be in the live studio audience and drink some great beer and throw coasters at us or whatever. But we're going to be doing a live show at Almanac Brewing, so that's pretty exciting. And as you know, we all talk about the different Almanac beers we're drinking. I am still stuck on this Hugs Hefeweizen. I am loving it. Delicious. Like I always say, like a lot of the American Hefeweizen producers make Hefties that stick on the inside of your mouth and they sit kind of heavy. And the German style has all the flavor of that, but it doesn't have that heavy thickness. And boy, Almanac has absolutely nailed the real traditional German style of making a Hefeweizen. This is a great beer. So I highly recommend it. Look for it out there in your stores. What are you guys drinking?
Well,
what you got, Chuck?
I'm drinking the Seaside West Coast IPA. I think that was the first one I had the first time I was on the show, and it's my favorite up to this point. But I haven't tried the Oktoberfest, and I haven't tried what you were talking about there, Robbie, the Hefeweizen. So, but I like this one. This one's good. The Love's good. The Big Love's even better. They're all good. So, cheers.
Guys, it's early, but guys always forget about Valentine's Day. Don't forget, Almanac makes love and hugs. So start thinking about your favorite partner and love and hugs for Valentine's Day.
All right.
And then I'll just slip the divorce papers in there with it. Then, that's what'll happen next.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to follow up on Chuck, but I'm going to try anyway. I got the Seaside also. And I guess I keep saying this, but I guess I can't say this. I can't say I don't like IPAs anymore. I keep pulling this stuff up. So what's it? I'm a convert. Thanks, Almanac. I
Yeah,
guess.
me too, I think.
I guess.
Guys, throwing up. It's good. I am tonight. I'm drinking the variation of the Love Hazy called the Ballers Love Hazy IPA for the Oakland Ballers baseball team that is playing at the Oakland Coliseum. I guess they're the only baseball team that plays there now. So this is just, it's the same as your Love Hazy with just different branding on the can. Maybe a collectible. It's got a baseball on it, so that's what we love about the Almanac brewing process and all the different beers they offer. It's good that I haven't had a sour in several months now. I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh boy, you just wait until November.
Yeah, I'm bringing 2 cans on November 6th for you,
Just for you.
just for you.
Oh, great.
So
You're special.
explain how the one you're drinking, Rob, is different than the Big Love or the Love Hazy.
So
Just the name on the can, or
this is the Love Hazy.
oh, okay.
It's got a different branding.
Oh,
So it tastes just like your Love Hazy, but this is a commemorative can for the new Oakland baseball team.
gotcha.
So,
All right.
So it's like Ballers Love Hazy IPA.
that's correct.
Yeah.
So, well, good. It's always great to be sponsored by Almanac. We appreciate them. And again, they are one of America's premier craft brewers. Be sure to visit the brewery. It's a fun place. It's really well set up. It's you can go through and do flights and tastings and all the traditional stuff, but there's just something special about the brewery. So make sure you get a chance to visit the brewery in Alameda, California. You know, if you go there, tell them that you heard about them from the Highlights from Lowlife show. They may take pity upon you. And before we dive back in, we have a couple of what you drinkins.
Oh, great.
From the callers, which I love.
JC here. What you drinking? I'm feeling a little beachy. I'm having a Seaside by Almanac, West Coast Pale Ale. Cheers, boys.
Hey, he had that last night at our board meeting for Babe Ruth.
He's
He's
not a
two
cold-
nights in a row.
Did he say he was feeling a little bitchy? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Bitchy. Yes, that is what he said.
I'm floored that it's not a Kolsch. My goodness, Jason's
No.
expanding his horizons. What a guy!
No, he drank one of these last night.
Dang, he's
at the
expanding.
board meeting.
What a guy! All right.
Benjamin Button is growing up. Here's Big Juicy.
Cool.
Well, what am I drinking? Well, due to the generosity of Marty, I have a Rocktoberfest. I have not been able to find it in Pacifica, and lo and behold, Marty had a can left, and I am enjoying Rocktoberfest. And I'm so happy I might just, as the can says, dance my arse off. Enjoy.
Not in my house. You're not.
You gotta get video. And then I'm gonna throw this in. I think this is a comment to when Webby was talking about the Rockies, but it relates to beer, so this should count. Teddy Bear.
At least Mile High Stadium's a good place to sell Coors beer.
True story.
All right, enough of that nonsense.
All right, let's move into round 3. Chuck, who starts this round?
Let's go with Marty.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Come on.
Delay of
Everybody
game.
else, let's go.
What is
There we
it?
go.
Is that delayed game?
No, that's the new symbol. That's the new signal for next year. And I'm the commissioner. I would put it in right away, but that's the new signal for next year. It's been done very successfully here in Reno, and that's the automated strike zone.
Oh yes.
If the pitcher thinks that's not correct, the call was not correct, ball or strike, he taps his helmet. The umpire steps out, and they challenge the call, and they do a great job, because I was kind of leery about this at the beginning, and within a count of 1, I think the longest one took 5 seconds to show on the big screen where the ball was through the strike zone.
Who taps their helmet?
Now, the batter will. The
Oh.
catcher can always appeal it, and he just turns and says that he's going to appeal it. And again, timeout is called. They step out and they look at the replay on the screen, all within 5 seconds. It's not this craziness that you see in the NFL or football where they take eons to figure out what the heck went wrong, and then they'll fix it after they fix the eon. But anyway. And I think it's going to it's going to tighten up that strike zone, and it's also, I believe, is going to impress a lot of fans that how proficient the umpire is on those edges of the strike zone. But they do miss on occasion, and it doesn't hold up the game at all. And I must admit, as a baseball purist, I was against it. But I think it's something that needs to be done, especially now that even on the playoffs. Even they'll superimpose that strike zone on the TV screen as we have it now. So it's already there. And I think, so that's why I as the commissioner, I would put it in, and I think baseball should put it in realistically too. Webby, take it.
Right. I'm gonna ride on your coattails here.
Most intelligent people do.
I don't want to waste any time with the umpires anymore. I don't need them to call the game. Let's just institute the robo umpire for every ball and strike call. The guy standing behind home plate, his only job will be to read what it says on his screen and signal to the fans whether it was a ball or a strike. I don't need anybody's personality in the game. I don't need somebody to tell me that it's a strike in the first inning, but not in the ninth inning. All those things, they just take up time. We need to go to the robo ump. We've got some great umpires and we got some really bad ones. And there isn't anything being done about the really bad ones. These guys have a union. They're making
Right.
$250,000 a year to umpire baseball games. We don't need that. We've shown that the computer can do the job. Let's just signify it. So I'm Marty. I'm basically saying, let's dispense with somebody attempting to make ball and strike call, and just do it with the computer. So
how much will the plate umpire get paid now that all he does is mimic what he sees on the screen?
No, he still has fair and foul. He still has the plays at the plate. In the minor leagues, he's still in the rotation because there's usually only 3. But there's still plenty of things to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Chuck, that's not my concern. I don't care if that guy.
Well, clearly.
Yes, we
All
are
right.
proof of concept.
All right, Chuck, go ahead. Number 3.
Oh, okay. Well, my number 3 was the one Robbie had for number 4. So I guess I'll just
Elaborate.
piggyback on that, elaborate on that.
Okay,
Yeah,
elaborate.
I don't like the DH requirement the way it is now. I think it ought to go back to the way it was. I think it was the National League, right? That where pitchers hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, especially.
I don't know how I forgot that in only 2 years, but I just think it created a lot of strategery, I guess, as Bush would say, to the game. There's no double switch or anything like that anymore. Those kind of things. They took all the decisions away from the other than assigning who the DH is going to be for the day, away from the manager. I think it was. I think fans like to see, a good pitcher hit, like you were saying, Bumgarner, and if Ohtani pitches again, Ohtani would definitely be one that fans would like to see hit again. But there were others too.
Yeah, and it brings back the skill of bunting.
Yeah. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. It's
Right.
part of the strategy of the game.
Yeah.
If you were in a situation with a pitcher coming up, a lot of times the bunt was what was on, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I just don't like the way it took away from the game and the pitchers hitting and then things that the fans want to see. So I mean, right now, a lot of the DHs, they come up and they strike out or they do a lot of stuff that the pitchers would have done anyway. So what's the difference?
Well, and if I was going something I was going to add, but I forgot before. All right, we'll put the DH in the All-Star game, and because remember when the DH came out, it was a chance for those guys that are on the cusp of retirement to at least get up and get his accolades for the service well done over the years.
Hmm.
So fine, let's bring him out at the All-Star game or something like that to give him his swan song. But it takes away the strategy of baseball. You're right.
Well,
Chuck
what
was
do you think
exactly
the
right.
reason was for instituting a DH all across the league? What was to save pitchers, to protect pitchers? What was it?
I think they thought it would make more of an exciting game with more hits.
More
Yeah,
scoring.
I don't think it really did. Do you guys?
And it proved that it didn't. That's I think,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point of all of our contention with that rule is that it was a
Yeah.
nice experiment, but it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But if you still,
It's not going away, unfortunately, because it
Yeah.
provides
Yeah.
job to stars at the end of their career. So,
right,
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is. The DHs now are exactly stars, previous stars that can't play, in the field anymore.
true,
right.
right.
So, but you know,
I hear you.
they don't get rid of a pinch hitter. You can still pinch hit for somebody if that's what you want to do with those guys. So I don't know. That's all I have to say about that.
All right.
Thank you,
Hey,
Mr. Bill.
Bob.
Here endeth the lesson.
All right. So number 3 for me, baseball this year implemented those larger bases, which because they wanted to get more base stealing going. Which I don't know how Maury Wills stole 100 bases and Ricky Henderson stole 100 bases and Lou Brock stole 100 bases in a single season. And when we were growing up in the 70s and 80s, I mean, a guy had 40 stolen bases. He was like 10th or 11th in the league. There were always speedsters all over. So at first I was thinking, let's get rid of the bigger bases. But I changed as I thought more about it. I want to get rid of that stupid oven mitt sliding glove. Because now you have the larger base, and then you got the guy with the sliding gloves off 3, 4, 5 inches off the guy's hand, and that's you watch those guys go head first, and they're leading with the oven mitt, and it's supposed to be because they had a hand injury, but they're actually using that thing now to try to get that extra
3 inches,
split second to get to the base. It's ridiculous, and that thing's got to be outlawed. There, you can have a protective glove on, but it better be snug to your hand like a mitten in North Dakota in wintertime. That thing should be right on that. None of this crap where the extension thing. That's just it's a bad look, and it's a bad way. When you're only letting the pitcher throw over to first base twice in an at bat, it's a bad way to. It's too much advantage for the runners. That's
and if you coach Babe Ruth or whatever, that's another reason why you want to get rid of those damn things so that the kids.
I'm sure every kid wants one in their pocket.
Oh man, I coach first base and I hate it because they get to the bag and then they unload about 15 pounds of equipment onto me. Their elbow guard, their shin guard, their all this crap in their glove, and then they stand there for 30 seconds putting their oven mitt on. In the meantime, they missed the sign to steal anyway. and most of the guys who do it, they've never slid once in their entire life. So if you're going to get rid of that oven mitt, get rid of it all the way down to T-ball, will you, please?
Yeah, good call.
Yeah,
but that's the round, I think, right?
Yeah, that is. Let's move into round 2. Who's up, Rob?
How about you? After you take your swig.
We keep being told that baseball is going to become more of an international game, that it will expand beyond the United States and Canada at some point. That's wonderful. I hope it happens at some point. But why in the hell are we taking regular season baseball games and playing them in a different country? Can you imagine being a season ticket holder? Oh, yeah, you have 3 less games because the Dodgers are going to Australia for 3 games in front of people who don't know what a baseball game is. You know,
Mhm.
and
if you want
charging you
yeah,
full price.
yeah, if you want to create goodwill and get people interested in the game, do what they did in the old days. Get a caravan of players together that goes across Japan, goes across China, goes across wherever, and plays exhibition games and mixes with the fans. The games would still be competitive and fun. They don't have to mean anything. Let's move back to that. I can't stand it when Major League Baseball opens its season, and to watch the game live, you got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Well,
It
football
doesn't
does
make
that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
same
yeah,
same thing. Same thing. Why are we
yeah,
playing regular season games in another country? Uh,
yeah,
And they will say it's to generate fan interest. Why does it have to be a regular season game? Make it an
yeah,
exhibition game.
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Exactly.
doesn't make any sense to me, and they keep doing it, and it seems to be expanding. Like you say, Chuck, in the NFL, it's like every other week there's another game in another country.
Yeah.
Why?
And I honestly think in the NFL anyway, for sure, it's added to injuries.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because they get inadequate rest and in between games and the jet lag and all. You know,
Mhm,
there's
mhm.
more injuries.
Yeah.
So
It's irritating to me that America's pastime, and I'm not trying to be a nationalist here, but America's pastime opens up in another country. You know, it doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah,
So I would say bring the regular season games back, all regular season games, unless you play at Tropicana Field, have to be played in your home stadium or the visiting team home stadium. No more of these trips to Mexico and stuff like that during the regular
during the
season.
regular season.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed.
All right, Chuck, number 2 for you.
I got to do number 2.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Light a match.
Yeah, I got always bring a match.
Oof.
All right, my number 2 is don't let the Dodgers get away with the salary cap shit that they did with Otani.
Ah, you got me back. You just took my number 1.
Yes, yes. All right. So you know, I mean, they've got to do something about that. I mean, their primary reason. I mean, it benefits the team much more than it does Otani. In fact, because there's no he doesn't collect any interest on that money that he would have got if he'd have gotten it up front. He loses like 49 to 80 million, I read in some cases. So it was also that the team could avoid the luxury tax. That's the whole reason for the way they wanted to structure it that way. And it's just a ridiculous way of giving the teams that have a lot of money even more money to be able to save on the salary cap. I read that the Dodgers were going to save in the first 10 years 24 million. I don't know if that was per year or total in salary cap in taxes because
It's
of this structure
it's
that they could use to go out and buy other high caliber players.
yeah,
It's
it's
just
per
not
year.
right.
So
Yeah,
Otani is making $70 million a year. He
yeah,
gets paid 2.
yeah,
46 million counts towards the cap.
yeah.
24
Wow.
million doesn't. And I'm going, this was an easy loophole to close, but
Yes.
they let it stand, you know?
Absolutely, it was easy. I mean, there had been others that had you know, pushed the bulk of their contract out towards the end of it, but nothing like this. This was
Yeah.
unbelievable and unreasonable. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah. Don't the Mets still play Bobby
yeah.
Bonilla?
Yeah,
Well,
but that's a joke now, Marty. They pay
Yeah.
him $1 million a year for 35 years. It,
Yeah.
Otani's going to get $68 million a year for 10 years
Yeah.
After he's
finishes
done
the
playing,
contract.
probably. Yeah. Which is, I don't know. I hope it hurts him in those 10 years. But for
Well,
right
Chuck-
now, all it does is give them. They've already got the big market, tons of money advantage as it is already, without any kind of revenue sharing going on.
So Chuck, there's an interesting thing about the contract. The contract is tied to the owner still being there and the GM still being there. If either one of them loses their job, then Otani can opt out of the contract. I don't know why he would.
Why would he opt out? But I'd be more concerned that
Exactly.
they can cancel the contract on him.
But he has
You're
that
muted,
right.
bud. Oh,
Who's muted?
Still there?
Me?
You were talking and there was nothing coming out.
Oh, okay. So
it's usually the other way around.
Yeah.
Nothing coming out, but he's talking.
So essentially, if you're the Dodgers owner, you're there for the next 10 years, and there's absolutely no reason for you to stay after 10 years because contractually you don't have to anymore. And the franchise has to pay $68 million a year to somebody who doesn't even play for the team anymore. So that's a good time to get out of Dodge if you're the Dodger owner. Just leave. Just leave at the end of 10 years.
So
All right,
he straps the next guy with a big debt, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, that was my number 2. We gotta close some loopholes and make things a little more fair. At least make it. I don't think there needs to be complete parity, but there needs to be a little bit closer parity across the league. So, and one way of doing that is to get rid of these kind of things.
Yep. All right, who's up?
Marty.
Think about it.
All right, I will.
No one likes orange sickles. Clee. Space City. And what the hell is San Diego wearing? We are going to, I'm the commissioner, we're banning City Connect uniforms.
Marty, I have good news
Period.
for you. The Giants are not bringing back the creamsicle jerseys.
Yes.
They're bringing back a new design.
Oh my God. What City Connect's got to be one of the biggest investors in all the teams, right? At this point,
I don't know. Is that actually a company that invests, or is that some stupid name they brought up with? But
no, it's a company.
Is it really?
Yeah.
All right, I'd fire him. You're fired. Go away. I'm the commissioner. You're fired. Go away. Especially Clee. I thought that was what the is that? All right. Who do I go to now? Who's left? Thank you, Robbie. Go ahead.
Me this round, yeah. Well, I'm going to go back to what Chuck took my number 1.
Sorry.
And no, it's good because I would elaborate on that. I don't mind if they want to defer money as a salary thing. I mean, that's smart business and all of that. However, there should be a deferred salary cap. So you have your single season salary cap and your long-term salary cap.
Yeah.
There should be 2 in place, and you need to fit under both of those because
with no loopholes.
Exactly. No loopholes. I mean, they gave Yamamoto money that's deferred too. I mean, they're in deep on this, and that's just ridiculous. There's got to be a way to cut that out because teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Mets even will continue to do that until somebody stops it. And if they don't move soon, it's going to get out of control before it gets stopped, and it's really going to damage the game. So it's it's something you want to defer the money. That's all right, but you can only defer X amount. You have your 1-year goal and your 10-year or whatever it is, but your deferred amount cap. There's got to be a second cap that they've got to fit under, or you hit that luxury tax too.
Yeah,
because it's ridiculous under the current circumstances are just a joke.
Yeah, and a guy like Otani, he doesn't care. He wants to help the team win. But he's also he
Well,
went
you
from
could
like
bet on
40
that.
million. Yeah, he went from 40 million in revenue from advertising and things like that to 68 or something like that
Right.
this the past year. So
Yep.
he's making plenty of money already just in endorsements.
Yeah.
So it's just a game that the team is playing to give them even more of an unfair advantage than they already have.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
it doesn't make sense.
we had a caller call in. They were having trouble getting the app to work to leave a message, but it was texted to me, and it said, "I don't think Marty has a power outage. I think he's just trying to romance the audience."
Ooh, there you go. Should we play some music?
That came in from Vonnie. That came in from Vonnie.
I miss her.
That's great.
So, oh boy, you know what? That finished round 2, right?
Yep.
It did.
That brings
Did
us
it?
to a part of the show I like to call.
Offload, reload.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called, offload reload. Essentially what we do in this section of the show is we talk about Mic'd Up and the other shows that are on the platform. Mic'd Up's goal is to make partnerships with some of the larger sports organizations, teams, associations, what have you. And these shows serve as a proof of concept. And so they are marketed to some of the teams and shown as something that they could do with the app. So we've got, of course, highlights from Lowlifes, but you also have the Rick Barry Show, former NBA, ABA, NBA Hall of Famer. Rick Barry has his host Cyrus, and they talk everything basketball. Lots of pros, lots of Warriors, some college, and a little bit about the 3-on-3 league that Rick is involved in. I think Rick is coaching there. Great listen, and Rick will answer all of your questions that come in. The Jim Darby Show. Jim is an ex-Easton and Mizuno executive. He's also an accomplished author. And Jim has a bi-weekly show which talks about folks that he's met while in the sports industry. Some of them were his closest friends. He just did a great show about Pete Rose, who he was close with, and Pete just passed away, of course. Jim should have a show next week, and he's going to start bringing on some guests. So keep an eye on your listings to see who might be on the show. The Florida Sports Hall of Fame, John Rieger, and his partner Barry Smith, they have a show that pops up intermittently where they host folks who have been elected into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. They've had folks like Wade Boggs and Fred Biletnikoff and Jan Stevenson on recently. It's a great listen. You get to hear what they do today and why why Florida was an important part of their sports experience. The Rovner Report. AJ Rovner is a employee of the New York Giants. He's also a big Mets fan, a big New York Rangers fan, basically a big sports fan. AJ has a show that is popping up on a weekly basis, sometimes even more. The focus right now is on his beloved New York Giants and just how bad they've been playing. They just got whooped by the Philadelphia Eagles, and that was a tough show for AJ and his buddies to describe. But he's also had a couple of shows about the Mets and Rangers lately. Great listen. So look for the Rovner Report. And finally, our friends at Yankees Coast to Coast. Bad timing.
I'm hitting the damn button.
Oh boy.
Boo! Boo!
Malfunction.
What was that?
It's supposed to be booing, but it sounded like cheering. There it is.
Hey, proof of concept show. There we go. All right.
And
So,
Mike Miller's in there messing with your equipment.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So our friends Mike Miller here on the West Coast and Adam Schneider on the East Coast, they do a show all about the Yankees. They are former fantasy campers who have made some great relationships with a lot of the ex-Yankees. They know the team inside and out, and every week they're having shows about the progress of the Yankees, and here they are in the World Series. So the next show will be on, I believe, Friday, and they're going to talk about the Yankees' chances against the Dodgers. So tune in to those shows.
I would say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So this week, I'm friends with the Yankees Coast to Coast guys.
And I have taken the stance that I want to know if Major League Baseball could allow for both teams to lose.
If Angel Hernandez was the umpiring captain, it could happen.
It's possible.
Oh, good.
It's
That was
possible.
good. Boom, 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 boom. That was good.
All
I
right.
thought pew,
Hey,
pew, pew.
wait, before we go on, Teddy Bear taking a pot shot at Chuck.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Hammy, strategery is a 19-point Scrabble word if you can get it on the board.
I like it.
I thought it was made up.
I think it's one of those words that you like Bush said the word, and then a few years later it showed up in the dictionary. So
There you go.
Yeah.
okay, round one, folks.
Round one.
Robbie, who's first?
I'll go first because I don't want Chuck to steal it.
Oh, I'll bet you're gonna steal mine, aren't you?
No, I don't think so. But I like this one. I really, really, really believe in. And
Really?
It struck me during all the different rounds of the playoffs. As a kid, you used to go to the ballpark and the colors are vibrant, right? When you walk in through the tunnel to your seats, the greens are and the brown against each other, you know, the infield dirt and the grass and the wall and the ads and all the stuff going on in the stadium. It's just colors popping everywhere. And when you watch on TV like Wrigley Field, the green against the red brick and Fenway, the green monster and Philadelphia with the Liberty Bell out there and all those things, they look so great in daytime. I would like to see day baseball only on Saturday and Sunday. As a kid, I mean, that's the best thing for the young kids. You see that stuff. All my vivid memories of a kid going to the ballpark is daytime with colors popping. The A's uniforms and the Pirates yellow and the Braves with the red, white, and blue. All those colors are so vivid in my mind. And I don't have memories of night baseball games, even though I know I went. Every memory I have as a kid in anywhere from 3 to 12 years old, it's a day baseball game. Playoffs, World Series, regular season, Saturday and Sunday is for day baseball. That's it.
Well, maybe you were asleep on the night one.
No, no. When you watch ball games, they
Passed
show
out.
little kids asleep in the night games.
Well, all the lighting in Major League stadiums is LED these days. It's not that yellowy, high-pressure sodium stuff.
Right, but it's still.
So the colors still, they actually pop better
There's
now.
something about those, especially the older ballparks with the blue sky and the bright colors of the park. Just Saturday and Sunday is built for day baseball. From now on, day baseball. My first day as commissioner.
Awesome.
For Saturday and Sunday, anyway. Night games, I get it during the week, but come on. Weekends. Marty, what do you got?
All right. This is my pet peeve. And let me start by saying that the World Series starts on Friday, and then they'll play on Saturday, and Sunday will be an off day. So we'll be playing in New York at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So the boys of summer, the game of summer, is going to be decided by two teams with the temperature at the start of the game around 50 degrees. Bull. I'm the commissioner, and I've decided that we're going to shave a week, maybe 10 days. We'll start at the same time, And starting in May through August, every other Sunday will be a family Sunday of double headers. Now, Webby talked about the goodwill of the game and the interest in the game in the modest income of the middle class family that can't afford $45 a seat to take his kids to the game. He may be able to afford, or they may be afford. I'm sorry for my sexist attitude. If it was a doubleheader, I remember the greatest times growing up when my father is trying to make ends meet with me and a couple other kids, going to those double headers. We can shave a week to 10 days off the schedule. We can still have the wild card playoff. We can still have the full playoffs, and we can end this we can end the season in mid-October when the temperature is still somewhat reasonable on the East Coast. We can't continue to have the game of summer decided in the fall on the East Coast where the temperature is half, maybe even half of what it was during the middle of the summer. Here endeth the lesson. Thank you.
And we apologize to our listeners in England for Marty's salty language.
I thought I did pretty good. Wait a minute. Hold on. 4 almanacs in, that was pretty bloody good.
I gotta wash that salty language out of my gullet.
All right. Now that you're all clear up there, take it, Chuck.
All right. I could have sworn one of you guys would get on this one before I did, but I really think they need to get rid of that ghost runner. And I found something out that I didn't know before. They call that the Manfred Man. When I was researching this, I go, what the hell's Manfred Man? Oh, okay. So anyway, that's just, it just doesn't feel like baseball when you're giving away a base for free. I mean, even growing up and playing baseball, the whole thing was you got to earn it, man. You got to get the next base any way you can, but you got to earn it. You don't just get it for free. So that's just the way I feel about it. I mean, imagine if you went out on a date late night. What, you get to start on second base? I don't think so.
Well, now, how about this? This was on my honorable mention. What if we decide to put the ghost runner, if you're still tied after the 11th inning, then we put a ghost runner on it. We got to end this thing because we got a game the next day or flight or something. Would you be susceptible to the idea if you got to do it on your own on the 10th, but if you get to the 11th, then we'll put the runner on? What do you think?
If you were a horse, they'd shoot you.
I still think you need to earn it. I just don't like the whole idea of putting somebody on second base for free.
Yeah.
So. You know what, Chuck? I agreed with you until you drew the parallel to dating.
Well, because you would like to start on second base.
He never got the second base.
Oh man.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that call.
I definitely think we got hosed on that. All right, Rob.
All right.
Go ahead and get to second base for free.
We got a lot of questions and comments coming in. So I'm going to end up with I don't like the newly balanced schedule.
Yeah.
So if folks don't know what's going on, everybody in the National League plays everybody else in the National League the same number of times, and they play each of the teams in the American League a smaller number of times. So there's a difference between the National League and the American League. Great. but the divisions in the National League, they don't mean anything anymore. The Giants play the Dodgers as many times as they play the Nationals. Why? So the
Yeah.
concept of divisions has gone away. Why don't we just stack up all the teams in the National League like they used to do in the 60s and before they had divisional play, and just pick the top 6 teams and they go to the playoffs. It doesn't make any sense anymore. And pivotal games down the stretch are determining your standings in your division, and you're playing teams that aren't in your division or even in your league. So that's one of the problems of interleague play, but now they've made it worse by evening up the number of games you play within the league. That should go back to the way it used to be. I think.
Agreed.
Agree.
Good. Yeah, good point.
Yep.
Good choice.
That's a good one.
All right, Robbie, we got a ton.
We got a ton of calls. This was certainly a topic that resonated with our audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like saying resonated.
That's very fancy.
That'll bring up Ezra von Mermelschwanz. Oops.
Oops.
Ezra von Mermelschwanz from Yankees Coast, sponsored by the American League champion New York Yankees. I'd like the commissioners to see to the end of stupid umpires. No more dummies. Only smart umpires allowed. I think we need to move to robo-umps, guys. It's time. Let the machines rule. Terminator, baby. Ever since replay, I've noticed a significant decline in quality. It's time to bring them on.
All right, Ezra's got more pearls of wisdom.
Ezra back. Realignment is needed right now. I'm a big believer in regional rivalry. With the leagues playing into the same set of rules, we might as well intermix and create more regionality in the game. Also think the playoff format needs to change to 5-2 in the ALCS and World Series to really give a benefit to the team with the best record and the fan base that have been so loyal.
Said like a guy who expected to lose to the Orioles and the Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
And Ezra's final one.
Ezra back. Finally, we need to end, abort, remove, stop, excise, expel this idiotic World Baseball Classic. I
Yes.
get international expansion. I get all the millions and billions from ugly merchandise, from stupid uniform sales. But it is a disaster to have players not ready for prime time out there playing 100%. Edwin Diaz, anybody?
All right, controversial finish for
Wow.
Ezra.
Yeah.
I agree with him.
Really, I kind of like the world bit, but that's a different show.
Mhm.
All right, let's jump to Big Juicy.
Yeah.
Come on, Big Juicy. There we go.
Well, let's start off with number 5, which to me is a no-brainer. We have to have automatic computer backup to balls and strikes, just like they have in the minor leagues. Tap your helmet, and the pitch gets reviewed by the computer. It basically negates the bad umpiring, a la Angel Hernandez.
He's come up a few times.
4, shorten the season to 140 games. World Series at the end of September, not the end of October.
But
Or
then
beginning
Reggie
of
Jackson
November.
would be Mr. October, and it would be irrelevant.
And your point is?
Huh?
Jeez.
Oy.
Oh,
My number 3, let's have minimal interleague games during the regular season, less than 5, let's say. Based on geographical proximity or rivalry, let's keep the World Series special and have teams basically from the National American League meeting each other for the first time in the World Series. Number 2, remove the designated hitter. Pitchers got a bat. Number 1 coming up.
Got it, baby.
I mean, Big Juicy sounds a little testy.
He's
He
a
does.
smart. He's a smart guy.
You're
And
saying
my
he has
number
little
one,
testes?
I love seeing players going into the stands to make fantastic plays, and it's usually foul balls, but every once in a while it's home runs. But it could be more home runs if we lowered the outfield walls to no more than 5 feet. That way, we could see some great leaping catches of outfielders going into the stands after a ball. I know it wouldn't go over well in Boston with the big green monster out there, but hey, it's baseball.
Marty,
Those athletes can hurdle a 5-foot wall. What is he talking about?
Marty, did you lock up your liquor cabinet before Dave visited?
Oh shit! Ooh.
I'm worried about that one. And can you imagine, like you say, a guy hurdles the fence, and Grandma gets a spike in her forehead.
Yeah. Or he breaks a leg or his spine on the top of the fence going over.
Grandma got run over by the right fielder.
Maybe he meant 8 or 9 feet.
All right. Well, JC is in. Boy, I cannot tell the order of his, so I'm going to do my best guess.
Good luck.
JC here. The first thing I thought of when I saw this topic, if I was suddenly Fred Manfred, the first thing I'd do is fire my dumb butt and get somebody in who knew what the heck they were doing.
Wow, if that's how he feels about Fred Manfred, I wonder how he feels about Rob Manfred.
Yeah, the actual,
the actual
commissioner of baseball. Must be his brother.
JC back with a real answer. If I was commissioner, I would lose the stupid girls softball tiebreaker rule with the runner on second.
Yep.
I would ban the DH. I would put Pete in the Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb really did a lot worse, and he's in the Hall based on what he did before he started steroids. And number one coming up.
Oh, another Hall of Fame show.
Yeah.
And the number one answer, if I was the commissioner, I would allow no salary deferment more than 25% paid after the playing career and contract were over. And the Dodgers can bite me.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, JC and I agree wholeheartedly on that.
I think so. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So the Pete Rose thing is definitely another show because you have to see Charlie Hustle on HBO Max because it's a documentary. It starts out, looks like it was designed to give him every chance in the world to get himself into the Hall of Fame. And at the end of the 4 episodes, you're like, oh,
he was his own worst enemy. Yeah.
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 So anyway, I highly recommend that. Now we've got our, oh wait, Rob's the host. What am I doing?
Hey, Vonnie's on there.
What?
Yeah, but Vonnie was having trouble. She said, let's see what it says. She was having trouble leaving a message. And nothing.
And a whole lot of nothing.
Nope. Just nothing. So, all right. Honorable mentions?
Throwovers. What a bunch of crap. Period.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah. What, the one disengagement thing?
Yeah, come on. He wanted to throw
you
over.
Throw over as many times as you want.
If the first baseman can't catch the ball, screw him. I mean, come on. That's a stupid rule.
I've got one designed for the fans. Beer sales through the last out. Now that games have gone from 3.5 hours to 2.5 hours, some of those lines, I mean, like you're 2 hours or hour and 45 minutes in the 7th inning and they're shutting down the thing and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Get rid of the DH and get the DD going. And then we can drink until the last inning.
You really think this is a good idea? I mean, some of these people are hammered before they get in the ballpark.
Yeah, but some of these people were way more hammered when it was a 3.5 hour game. I feel like I got time to get 2 or 3 beers in before the game is over. Come on, don't shut it down in the 7th. That's crap.
All right. Let's make a compromise. It's only light beer. We're only going to sell light beer.
That's fine. Whatever.
Like Ultra.
At a ball game, yeah. The Coors Light goes down just fine at a ball game.
Yep.
That's
It's
right.
no almanac, mind you.
We got to get the almanac in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Then it won't
True.
matter. Seventh inning,
True.
ninth inning, you know, you're already gone.
Mhm.
Especially with the big love. It's hitting me already.
Well, this was
I think Chuck wants to be alone.
This was a very, very good topic. Lots
Yeah.
of fun, back and forth. I liked it.
Yeah. I was
We'll be
surprised
back
the DH was such a big deal for everybody.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh sure.
We'll be back next week with another show, different topic. We don't know what it'll be yet. We'll try to figure it out. But
It's
thanks
going to be
for joining
brilliant.
us. Yeah, it'll be brilliant, whatever it is.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, and look for us. You'll get a notification if you're following us in the app. Thanks again, Robbie. Play us out.
Highlights
Oh, candlelight
from
romance time.
Highlights.
You're on second base already, Marty.
Lowlifes.
Low lifes or dark shadows. I don't know which one it is.